Hi, so as you probably guessed from the title, this video is about the Java 90 circuit board. This should apply for, well, actually should apply for all models, but it certainly does for Gen 1 and Gen 2 Java 90 Cross and Roadster. Not sure about the Trail, because that's the export version with the battery, but I think that has the same thing. Pretty sure this is the same, and this is what we will be taking a look at. Now, couple things. You will this video. I'm making this video because you kind of will need to do what I'm doing. This on mine, you can probably see it's a bit better than everything, but I haven't bothered buying. I'm trying to restore this one, so I haven't really bothered buying a new plate. But if yours is damaged, you will need to replace it. So you can't buy the whole plate, but you can buy this base plate, and only one place sells it. It's like 35 euros, and you can also, same place will sell you these male spade connectors and the rivets for it. But this thing, you won't get this. As far as I know, no one really sells it. I saw a few solutions for this with 3D printed parts, but well, trying to hope that yours is okay. As you probably guessed, you need an old one to transfer it to the new one. Otherwise, you're kind of fucked. Okay, so you will be transferring this part, this, and this. As I said, everything else you can buy. You can probably make this. It's not a big deal. But yeah. Now, before I disassemble this, as you probably guessed from the bolts, I've already disassembled this. Before you disassemble it, it has like a rivet, like leather thingy. Actually, what you'd probably find in leathering, it's a rivet with a hole. You can actually, what I'll do is replace it with a tube, and then you can just hammer it on both sides into a rivet, so it squeezes this together. But for now, well, this is 8mm diameter, so I guess 9mm drill will take off the head, and then you can just, hold it together. As you're disassembling this, as I said, a few things to be careful about. There's this on this side where the stoplight switch is. There's this little hole. This hole is rather important because it's a stopper for the small piece that rotates inside here as you're rotating the key 4 positions. This is what it will stop it from rotating. So another thing, inside this there are 5 springs, 4 small ones and one slightly bigger one right here under this black thingy. So as you take off do what I did, well, was actually what I would do if I did it again, because I kind of messed up and lost 2 of the small springs, and you kind of want to have the original ones, because it has a small, I don't know, a bevel thingy, whatever, on top of it, which is kind of really useful for the ball bearings inside it. So drill one side, put a bolt through it, drill another side so it holds, and then you can just disassemble it like this. As I said, before you disassemble it. Good idea to take pictures of it, so you know. This hole is really important. If you fuck it up and you put it on another side, it will connect the wrong fields. What I mean by fields, you'll see in a minute. Hold on. This, also, before you kind of start or assembling it, you kind of want to have this as well, and 2 strips of paper. Okay, so you kind of want to have enough space, or just use a box. I kind of know how to assemble this because I've already done it twice. But okay, so I'll show you. I'll pause the thing and show you this a bit more organized. So to explain the actual board, what you're basically doing, let me get this piece over here. What you're basically doing, you're connecting the fields. This field and this field, for example. Down here, 1C and 1B is the connect, what call, what you'd call it? Yeah, connection. It's basically position 1, so the engine throws a spark and you can actually start it. So you do with position 1 you connect this field and this field. I hope you can see. Doesn't really matter. You'll understand what I mean when you do. I think the base position is this 0, 0. You can see through the holes. This is what this base looks like underneath this. This needs to be isolated from the actual fields. So there's this small fields of printed circuit material. Not sure what it's called again. Resin, whatever. Okay. So as I said, you can buy this base plate. It will look slightly different from this. It's improved apparently. Not sure how. Doesn't really matter. The principle is the same. So transfer all this, what I will show in a minute, and this. I've used, I didn't have rivets, so I used small screws and, you know, hammered them. It's the same. I only had to replace this little piece, and that was broken, and this one. I did this because I wanted to clean up. So yeah, you kind of wanna have clean surface everywhere, so that you have actual contact with the two. This is how the stuff inside looks like once you actually organize it with. It's everything's basically the same except for these two covers. One of them has the little stopper thing I mentioned before. You can see it a bit better now what its function is. It stops this from rotating full circle. So the small little what do you call them? Not really holes, divots in here. They are where the ball bearings kind of stop, you know, each position. So each one stops at one little divot, and you have 5 positions: 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 0 and 4 are empty. 1 is contact. 2 is contact plus position lights. 3 is everything working, including the bike, if you're looking. So, as I said, these are the slightly different. These are the same, everything else is the same. There are on each side there are one black thingy. I'm not sure what you'd call them, but whatever. 2 shoes, 2 springs, 2 ball bearings, 5mm diameter, a resin what do you call it? Seal? Not really seal. It's what functions as an isolator to isolate the stuff from this cover from the base plate. You don't really want to have the connection where you really shouldn't have it. I put small pieces of isolating paper inside this these shoes, but yeah, you kind of wanna have it isolated. I had this stuff to paint it. I had to paint it because it was really badly rusted and everything. It's the reason why I took this stuff apart in the first place. But I kind of peeled off the stuff inside here because either I would do it or the ball bearings would, and then the stuff would fall between the shoes and the wheels on the plate, and that's not really a good thing. There are also this square connecting piece and one slightly bigger spring, which comes here. Spring comes here and here. This stuff, in case I forget, but you'll have to pay attention once you're assembling it where everything is facing. So this has to be aligned like this, not like this. You want to have it same direction. As I've said, do be careful while you're disassembling this, because if you lose anything, you'll have to make it. You won't find the same stuff anywhere, as far as I know. So in case you lose the spring, you can, I guess, use the ballpoint pen one, shorten it, and kind of make it so it's the same springiness. I forgot the term for it, but it has to fit. Whatever you do, it has to fit inside here. If you don't, it's gonna get stuck, and that's not really a good thing. Probably wouldn't be too much of a problem because it really squeezes it between the shoe and the ball bearing, but still, kind of, it's best to make everything as close as it should be. Now, as you start assembling this stuff, it doesn't really matter where you start, but few things you will, well, you don't need them, but it's gonna make your life slightly easier. So you need 2 pieces of paper and 2 clothesline clamps. As I said, it's not really necessary, but it's gonna make it easier for you. As I've mentioned before, it doesn't matter where you start, but there is one side that matters which way stuff is orientated, and as per guess, this is the side where this bad boy comes. It's on the side with the stop switch, and it's facing downwards. It's because that's how the plate is orientated when you actually put this on the bike. So let's start. first thing first, as I mentioned, you don't on this side you don't really need to do this, but it doesn't matter if you do. So these are the, I didn't really mention it before, but this black piece, both of them have the groove for the shoes on one side. On the another, there's only a hole for the ball bearing. You can't really fuck it up. The minus has to look upwards. See? Can't fuck it up. Well, you can, but it's kind of hard. So these shoes come inside here. This is, by the way, how you start. And I'll show you why you need the small strips of paper, because this needs to be facing downwards, and if you don't have the strips of paper, that's gonna happen. You can slide it from the side or whatever, but why make it more difficult for yourself than it needs to be? You'll have plenty of problems on the other side. So take the piece of paper. This is slightly easier when you're actually doing it without trying to record everything. Here, here. Oops. Okay. So squeeze it, place it up here. As I said, I'm just gonna start on the side that matters. You don't have to, just to be careful that you don't mess it up. And the shoes are where they're should be. Now what follows are the two springs. Really, I'll show you in a second why it's really useful to have the stuff, the original stuff. It's because of the ball bearings. Place it up here, and you're set. If you don't have the original balls on the top, the balls won't really stay in place. You can put the resin seal thing first, isolator. Not, as I said, don't really care what it's called. And final piece on this side is the cover. Upwards, easy. You can feel the stuff inside moving, everything. Now here's where the clamps come in handy, because if you don't, the springs will push it up. And this is basically over for this side. The fun side, yeah, the other side is the fun side. You can test it, it's rotating. I'm not sure you can hear that, but yeah, those are the ball bearings moving from one divot groove or whatever to another. The actual switch on this bike doesn't really matter. It would rotate freely if you didn't have this stuff inside. It's just there with the connecting strip of metal connecting to this minus over here. And once you rotate the key, it turns this stuff. Right now it's rotating pretty freely, but once you actually connect and squeeze the stuff, it's gonna be slightly harder, but not too hard. Now this stuff needs to be in the center. It's gonna make it easier for you. The other side, as I mentioned, I'm gonna pause it right here, because the other side is complicated. Okay, this is the other side. On this side, oh yeah, forgot to mention, but you can use, actually not can, but should put the seal first and squeeze it, because later it's gonna be really tricky to do this stuff. The holes really don't matter. You can do it like align them later. And what follows are same stuff as before, except to be mindful of where this is facing. See, the minus over here needs to be the same direction. You can still not on this side where the hole is. Not sure how well you can see it, but you can see where it's facing, but just don't move the shoes. They need to be there. Okay, what follows is on this side the spring. Actually, it's easier if you do. Doesn't matter how you do it, just as long as that stuff is inside. As before, strips of paper, black piece. Here. Here. Come on. I guess you could like stretch it a bit so there's a tighter fit, but I prefer stuff actually being as loose as it should be. Now, okay, fuck off. There we go. And as I said, do be mindful of where the minus needs to be. I forgot, it's facing there. Okay. Yeah, it's here. Then you just pull the paper outside. It's like easier for you. Now there are three springs pushing this stuff up now. Actually, for now one, but soon both of them will be kinda stands in place. The ball, in case you haven't noticed, is looking upwards, where the balls are. Now, this is why I said to be careful about the original springs. Okay. It stays where it should. If you fuck it up, it's probably not gonna quality of life things. Now, where did I put that piece? To make it easier for itself, you're gonna want to have something to push the stuff down so it actually stays in place as you know put this where it should be. So push it down. You can't really do it otherwise. You can move the clamps a bit away, but this side is really tricky. See, the other side wants to pop out, especially now that the springs are fully squeezed. So get this piece, slide it through, push down on that guy down there, and pray that the ball bearings will stay where they should. In case they don't, good luck. And okay. And as you probably guessed, they moved. So back to not really the beginning, but you know. Oop. I guess they were when they should be, but it doesn't matter. You can see how tricky this stuff can be, but I'll skip to where I actually managed to put this stuff together. Just a quick thing. I forgot to mention that you'll need to be squeezing the black piece together as well, so the shoes under it don't fall out. Let's attempt this. Well, I'm not gonna talk because it's complicated enough as it is. So, get this pushed and if you don't hear the ball bearings bouncing inside, that's the spring, in case you hear it, you are set. Now before this pops out, apart, squeeze it together. So yeah, to test it, as I said, it's gonna be slightly harder to turn. I don't have a flat-headed screwdriver down here, so here's this thing. Okay, it turns. If anything inside moves, as you probably guessed, you're gonna have to disassemble it. If this hole isn't here, you're gonna have to disassemble it. So, best to get it right the first time. Now, this is the next thing I do. Use the bolt. You saw this on the beginning, but it's gonna be pretty much. It's gonna be easier for you to rivet the two sides together. You have a bolt on at least one side, because the clamps might fly off. As I said, it doesn't really matter about the holes. You align them now. Okay. I'm not gonna show how I rivet this stuff together. Actually, I can show you, I guess, the easier thing. This is the schematic for Java 90. You can find this online pretty easily, and it's in the manual as well, in the last 2 pages. What you kinda need right now are the key positions and the connections made at each key position. Now, as you've probably remembered by now, there are actually 5 positions, not only 4. The the number 4, with it being the 5th position, is actually blank. It's the same as position 0. So yeah, it is shown in the manual, but not right here. But do kinda, do remember it exists, and that it is there, because if you're gonna turn the key completely to the end, clockwise, like to the end, that's gonna end up on position 4, which is dead, like empty. It's not gonna work. Your bike isn't gonna start, so do bear in mind that. As for other positions, 0 is, as I said, empty. 1 being contact. Number 2 being contact as well, with parking lights working. And number 3 with basically all of the lighting and all electronics working. This is the page in the manual. It doesn't really matter what it says. Actually, I guess it matters, because it says that signal light, that's the flash thingy, I think. The horn and the brake light, signal light. Basically the back brake light, that's gonna work no matter the key position. Well, it's not gonna work on 0, but should otherwise. Now number 0 is, as I said, cut. 1 is day driving, 1B and 1B, 1C connected. Number 2 is 1B, 1C, 58, 58A and C. You can see here the speedometer lightning is mentioned here as well as the rear light that turns at number 2. And as for the number 3, that's the front light, 25 by 25 watt. That's the headlight, main light, whatever. And as I said, 4 is empty. So don't forget about 4. 4 is important. Now, if you have any trouble or rather if you don't know where to connect which wire, even though there's the schematic over here, you can check out there's a channel on YouTube called Back in Time. He made a few pretty well-made videos about Java 90, like disassembling the engine and assembling it, folding it, whatever, together, then the forks. And anyway, what matters is he made a wiring video about it and explained the stuff there as well. So if you're not really handy in electric schematic reading and all that, you can check that as well. He also shows how to bypass the circuit board, so the thing we are fixing right now. And I mean, if you think that maybe that's the cause for your bike not starting, you can bypass it, like hit it, but it's not really. It's pretty likely it's not the circuit board. If you're gonna have trouble with lights, might be this, but not the bike itself starting. So yeah, you can check that out as well. As I said, they are pretty well made videos. It's in Czech, but you can still watch it without a problem. As I said, you don't need to do this thing if you're certain that you've assembled everything correctly, but I like to do it because it's easier to test whether everything is working as it should, than to realize later that, I don't know, lights don't work on the bike, then come to the realization that you fucked up something while you can't fuck it up except if you don't align the black pieces. You can't really fuck it up otherwise, or if you mess up the stopper, but everything's possible. So one thing to be mindful of is where the switch box, the key is rotating as you switch from one position to another. So as you are putting this plate on the bike, these are the fixed points. I think this one too, yeah. These 3 are where the bike comes fixed on the motorcycle. Now the thing is that the key is actually on this side. It goes through the bike on another side. So this actually needs to not rotate clockwise as it is on the correct side, I guess, on the left side of the motorcycle, but counterclockwise. I don't think you can see them, but I marked the stuff like position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4. So while I'm testing it, I don't fuck it up. One last thing, yeah. So do be careful which side you're rotating this stuff, because if you kinda go from 4 to 3, everything will be beeping. So if you don't know why that beeping is occurring, it's probably because you rotated it either in the wrong side, or worst case scenario, you messed up stuff while assembling it. For this, you won't really need anything if you don't feel like testing it, but you'll need a multimeter and something to turn the switch. I was still too lazy to get the screwdriver head with a flat head, but so back to this thing. As I said, start with position 0. One last thing. Get the multimeter to beeping. There to, I don't know, measuring, resistance measuring. I'm not sure whether you can hear that, but you'll be able to see it here. So position 0. As I said, no contact. This is how you turn off the bike. It shouldn't have any contact. And it doesn't. So position 0 is okay. Position 1 should connect 1C and 1B. You can check the schematic again if you want to kind of remember it. This is, and here it shouldn't beep. As I said, this stuff basically works on the fields. The male spade connectors are there only for you to put wires on it. So see the you can't see. So the whole field has you know, the resistance it should. And as I said, 1C and 1B is the connect. At this point your motorcycle should start, if you're lucky and it wants to. This is, after all, a Jawa 90. Now position 2. Position 2 is 1C and 1B. It is. And 58 C and 58. This is, I think that's the position lights, parking lights, whatever you call them where you are. And the 55A shouldn't, because those are the lights, the actual lights. And it doesn't. And last thing is position 3. Everything should be beeping. 1C is, 58 is, and 55 is. Nice. You can test the... well, like, you can test the... you know, the... whether the... what's called brake switch works. It should. It's not, as I said, if you cannot connect those two fields, it should. That's 30B, I think. And what you do is basically ground it. At least that's how most switches work. You ground them. And completely the last position is 4. You won't be able to turn it more than that. 1C Sorry, it's a bit of a mess here, but 1C empty. No, not connecting. So yeah, as I said, 0 and 4 are empty. Kill switches, whatever. 1 is position light, 2 is no, 1 is contact, 2 is contact plus parking lights, 3 is contact, parking lights, and what's it's called? Headlights, as it should, plus speedometer, lightning, and everything else. But yeah, so this should be now ready for actually putting it fixed together as it should be. One last thing you need to do is rivet this stuff together. Like replace those two bolts with a rivet, because this is where a bolt comes through it for you to fix it on the motorcycle. I don't think you can really do it any other way, but I guess you can try. Best thing to do is do it as it was. Now this is the original rivet. No, not sure how well you can see it. I've come here and took off the head on the side with the 9mm not screwdriver, drill. But so it's not really useful. It's a rivet. You can't really use it anyway. What I'm using instead is 8mm aluminum tube. If I could, if I had a place close by that sells a copper one, I would probably get that, because copper is more malleable than aluminum. But just use whatever you have. Just don't go like steel or something, because that's gonna be harder to do. But if you want, you can. Now to make your life easier for yourself, to at least start, I usually do this stuff with you know, ground a bolt, or not a bolt, a nut to a bit of a sharper edge right here. This is a 6mm bolt. I don't have a bigger one right now to show you how everything looks together, but you get the principle. As I said, 8mm outer diameter and 6 the inner one. Then you can just, you know, put this up. Obviously, this comes here. Place this. Then you just, as you're twisting it, it's gonna spread like a flange. Not sure what you'd call it. But yeah, just, you know, a tip on how you can do it. I'm not gonna show it because it's not something I'm gonna be doing here. I'm gonna do it in a workshop and don't wanna, you know, make a clumsy video of that as well. You can make it slightly more easier. You can, you know, grease it up a bit so it slides better. It's cold forming, you know. But yeah, as I said, this is basically it. It should work. One last thing I forgot to mention. Actually, I did mention that it's a Jawa 90 circuit board, but this is as you'd guess from a 1970 year. This is kind of old tech. The fields connecting and everything is, you know, it's what came later is slightly more compact, but this is more, you know, you can see stuff easier, how it comes to connect it together and everything. So I do like the simplicity of it. On like modern, like not actually modern, but for example on MZ250 you have strips of copper on the key switch box, you know, but there's a whole mess with wires. Here, you know, it's not everything bundled up together. So yeah, I hope that everything works for you. As I said, you can't buy this thing unless you buy used one somewhere, if you manage to find it, and anywhere elsewhere but Slovakia and Czech Republic. But yeah, if you wanna fix the stuff, just get the base plate, transfer it to the other, to the new one, and that's gonna be it. You can you don't, if you're not comfortable with this stuff, doing it yourself, you can send the old one, this whole thing, you can send it to the place that is selling the new one, and they are gonna transfer it for you. Not sure about the price. I think it's like 1,000 Czech crowns, which comes to 40 or 50 euros. So in total, this whole thing, it's gonna cost you 100 euros to, you know, fix up. But this is kind of the last thing I would kind of, you know, if your Java 90 doesn't start, don't go, you know, searching for cause in this thing. It's got plenty of other problems that, you know, if your headlights or lights in, you know, in other lights don't work, might be this. If your bike doesn't start, search for somewhere else, because it's pretty likely it's gonna be that. So if you have any questions, you can ask them, but I think that basically answers everything. I'm gonna link the store that sells the new plates down, and yeah, so thanks for watching, and